Have you ever wondered why some people in their 60s can still hike mountains, lift groceries with ease, and even outpace those half their age, while others struggle just to get up from a chair? It's not just good genes or luck. The truth is, much of this strength and vitality comes down to how they nourish their bodies, specifically, what they choose to put on their plate every single day. Over the years, I've spoken to countless men and women who assumed that muscle loss after 60 was inevitable, like the tide pulling back from the shore. But the science tells a very different story. With the right nutrition, you can slow, stop, and in some cases, reverse that decline. Once we cross into our later decades, our bodies begin to experience sarcopenia, a slow, progressive loss of muscle mass and strength. This isn't a rare medical condition. It's a biological process that starts as early as our 30s but accelerates with age. Without intervention, you might lose up to 8% of muscle per decade after 40, and the pace quickens after 60. Less muscle doesn't just mean less strength. It means slower metabolism, poorer balance, weaker bones, and a higher risk of falls. This is why food, the kind that works as fuel for both repair and growth, becomes not just important, but essential. And here's where the concept of golden foods comes in. Nutrient-dense choices that deliver the exact building blocks your body craves for muscle preservation and renewal. Let's take protein, for example. At 25, you might have been able to skip a meal, grab a sandwich at dinner, and still maintain muscle without much thought. But over 60, your body's efficiency at processing protein diminishes. It's like a car engine that now needs a cleaner, higher quality fuel to run smoothly. You require more grams of protein per meal to trigger muscle protein synthesis, the process that repairs and builds muscle fibers, and not just any protein will do. The amino acid leucine, in particular, plays a starring role here. It's the spark that lights the fire for muscle growth. Without enough leucine-rich foods, think eggs, lean poultry, certain dairy products, your body simply can't rebuild as effectively. But protein alone isn't the hero. Imagine trying to build a house with only bricks and no mortar. The bricks are your protein, but the mortar, the elements that hold the structure together, comes from other nutrients. Omega-3 fatty acids to reduce inflammation in muscle tissue, vitamin D to help muscle fibers contract properly, magnesium to aid in energy production during workouts, or even daily activities like climbing stairs. These nutrients don't just support muscle health. They're integral to the process. If you neglect them, it's like building on sand. I remember speaking with a retired physical therapist who was still able to squat down to pick up her grandchild without wincing. She told me she didn't follow any extreme diet, just made sure her breakfast included a quality protein. Her lunch always had leafy greens and colorful vegetables, and her dinner featured a serving of oily fish twice a week. She didn't think of it as a muscle diet, but her choices lined up perfectly with what research now shows. Consistency and quality trump everything else. Carbohydrates also deserve a place in this conversation, despite what decades of diet culture may have told you. When chosen wisely, whole grains, fruits, legumes, they supply glycogen, the stored form of energy that muscles depend on during activity. Without enough, your workouts, even light resistance training, will feel harder, and recovery will be slower. And here's something most people overlook. After 60, your ability to store and replenish glycogen diminishes. That means timing your carbohydrate intake around activity becomes even more strategic. For instance, a small serving of oats or a slice of whole grain bread before a morning walk can help fuel the muscles you're trying to preserve. Hydration might seem almost too simple to mention, but dehydration impacts muscle function faster than you'd expect. Water delivers nutrients into muscle cells and flushes out metabolic waste. Without enough, your muscle fibers can't contract or recover as efficiently. In older adults, the thirst mechanism dulls, so by the time you feel thirsty, you're already behind. Keeping a steady intake of water and mineral-rich fluids like herbal teas or broths makes a difference not just in your energy, but in your muscles' actual ability to perform. This is where golden foods shine, not in being exotic or expensive, but in being the ones that work with your body's changing needs. They combine high-quality protein, anti-inflammatory fats, muscle-friendly vitamins, and minerals that actually get absorbed and used. Think salmon for its omega-3s and protein. Think Greek yogurt for its leucine and probiotics. Think spinach and pumpkin seeds for magnesium. It's not about fads. It's about synergy. Nutrients working together to give your muscles what they've been quietly asking for all along. The beauty of these foods is that they don't just help you lift a heavier weight or walk a longer distance. They give you independence. They allow you to get out of bed without bracing yourself, carry your groceries without calling for help, and take the stairs without dread. Strength isn't just about pride. It's about freedom. And every bite of the right food brings you closer to keeping that freedom for years to come. When you start feeding your body with the right combination of these golden foods, something subtle but powerful happens. You begin to feel the return of energy you thought was gone for good. It doesn't arrive like a lightning bolt. It builds slowly, almost invisibly at first. You notice you can get up from the couch without leaning heavily on the armrest. Your morning walk feels smoother, less of a chore. This is not magic. It's biology responding to consistent nourishment. One of the key shifts that happens after 60 is the way your hormones interact with your muscles. Testosterone, growth hormone, and even estrogen play a role in maintaining lean mass, and all of them naturally decline with age. This hormonal drop is one reason muscle tissue becomes harder to maintain and recovery takes longer. But certain nutrients can help your body use what hormones remain more effectively. For example, omega-3 fatty acids from fatty fish like salmon and mackerel have been shown to improve muscle protein synthesis and reduce inflammation, almost priming your muscles to respond better to the protein you eat. In other words, the same 20 grams of protein will work harder for you when paired with anti-inflammatory fats. Then there's vitamin D, often called the sunshine vitamin. But for muscle health, it's more like a hidden power source. Adequate vitamin D helps with muscle contraction and coordination, meaning it doesn't just make you stronger, it helps you move more efficiently. For many older adults, vitamin D levels dip without them realizing it, especially if they spend most of their time indoors. Incorporating vitamin D-rich foods like fortified dairy, egg yolks, or certain mushrooms alongside moderate sun exposure can keep your levels in the range that supports not just bone health, but muscle function too. Another piece of the puzzle is antioxidant protection. As you age, oxidative stress, the gradual wear and tear caused by unstable molecules called free radicals, increases. This damages muscle cells over time, making recovery slower and muscle loss faster. Foods rich in antioxidants, such as berries, dark leafy greens, and even certain spices like turmeric, act like a shield, protecting muscle tissue from this slow erosion. They don't just keep you feeling youthful, They literally help your muscles stay younger at the cellular level. And here's something I often tell clients. Your muscles are not just passive tissue waiting to be fed. They are dynamic, hungry, and responsive. They adapt to both what you feed them and how you use them. Eating high-quality protein in a sedentary lifestyle won't give you the same results as pairing that protein with regular movement. Whether it's light strength training, resistance bands, or even brisk walking. The food provides the building blocks, but the movement signals your body to actually use them. This is why older adults who combine nutrient-dense diets with simple, consistent exercise often see remarkable changes in strength and mobility. Take magnesium, for instance, a mineral involved in over 300 biochemical reactions in the body, many of them directly linked to muscle contraction and energy production. Without enough magnesium, even a short walk can feel more tiring than it should, because your muscles can't efficiently generate the energy they need. Foods like pumpkin seeds, almonds, spinach, and black beans are excellent sources. Pairing magnesium-rich foods with your protein not only fuels performance, but also helps prevent painful cramps and spasms that sometimes discourage people from staying active. Even timing matters more than most people realize. After 60, the muscle protein synthesis window, the period when your muscles are most ready to absorb and use protein, becomes narrower. That means spacing your protein intake evenly across meals instead of saving most of it for dinner can yield better results. Starting the day with a protein-rich breakfast, Greek yogurt with berries and a sprinkle of pumpkin seeds, for example, gives your muscles what they need right away, rather than making them wait. Hydration ties all of this together. Muscles are roughly 75% water, and every contraction you make depends on proper fluid balance. A slight drop in hydration can lead to fatigue, stiffness, and slower recovery. Yet many older adults unintentionally drift into chronic mild dehydration simply because they don't feel as thirsty. The trick isn't just drinking more water. It's also eating hydrating foods like cucumbers, oranges, and watermelon, which provide both fluids and electrolytes to help your body hold on to that water where it's needed. The result of combining these strategies, nutrient-dense, golden foods, smart timing, hydration, and consistent movement, is not just a stronger body, but a more capable life. Your muscles don't simply help you lift weights or carry bags. They keep you steady when you step off a curb, help you push open a heavy door, and allow you to play with your grandkids without wincing in pain. And perhaps most importantly, they give you confidence, that quiet assurance that you can handle what life throws at you without hesitation. Over time, as these habits become part of your routine, your body begins to repay you in ways that go beyond the mirror or the scale. You notice you're sleeping more deeply, waking up with less stiffness, and recovering from small strains or fatigue more quickly. This is the often overlooked benefit of feeding your muscles well, the ripple effect it has on your overall health. Stronger muscles mean better posture, which improves breathing. Better breathing supports oxygen delivery, which energizes your brain. A sharper, more alert mind makes it easier to stay motivated and active, creating a cycle that feeds into itself. One of the most striking pieces of research in recent years has shown how muscle strength in older adults is linked directly to longevity. It's not just about how much you can lift, but how functional that strength is. Your ability to rise from a chair without using your hands, to carry a load up a flight of stairs, to keep your balance on uneven ground. The foods you eat are essentially investments in that kind of functional power. When you choose foods rich in leucine, magnesium, omega-3s, vitamin D, and antioxidants, you're giving your body the currency it needs to maintain that independence. Let's talk about leucine again for a moment, because it's that important. This amino acid, found in foods like eggs, lean beef, chicken, and certain dairy products, is the key trigger for starting the muscle-building process. Without it, your muscles can't efficiently respond to protein. Think of leucine as the ignition key for your muscle engine. You can have a full tank of fuel, protein, but without the key, the car won't start. For older adults, aiming for at least 2 to 3 grams of leucine per meal is a smart, science-backed approach. That's roughly the amount you'd find in 3 large eggs or a cup of cottage cheese. Equally important is how you pair your proteins with other nutrients to create synergy. For example, combining salmon with leafy greens drizzled in olive oil not only provides high-quality protein and omega-3s, but also delivers vitamin K and healthy fats to support joint and bone health. Adding a squeeze of lemon to that meal boosts vitamin C, which plays a role in collagen formation, important for keeping your connective tissues strong and supportive of your muscles. These small, intentional combinations are what turn a simple plate of food into a targeted muscle-preserving strategy. Then, there's the role of slow-digesting carbohydrates like quinoa, lentils, or steel-cut oats. These don't just provide energy, they deliver steady blood sugar levels, preventing the crashes that leave you feeling drained. Stable energy means you can stay active throughout the day, and every bit of activity, whether it's gardening, light chores, or a dedicated workout, signals your body to hold on to muscle. Pairing these carbs with protein in the same meal also improves recovery by replenishing glycogen while providing the amino acids for repair. We can't ignore the importance of healthy fats either. Nuts, seeds, avocados, and oily fish not only reduce inflammation, but also help your body absorb fat-soluble vitamins like A, D, E, and K, all of which play roles in muscle and bone health. Inflammation, if left unchecked, quietly eats away at muscle tissue over time. By including anti-inflammatory fats daily, you're helping to protect your hard-earned strength from being eroded in the background. Some people ask me if supplements are necessary, and the truth is, they can be helpful, but should never replace food. Whole foods bring a matrix of nutrients, fiber, phytonutrients, enzymes, that supplements can't fully replicate. For example, while you can take a magnesium pill, eating pumpkin seeds or spinach also gives you beneficial plant compounds that support overall cellular health. Still, if a blood test shows you're deficient in vitamin D or omega-3s, targeted supplementation can close the gap more quickly while you adjust your diet. And here's the thing about all these adjustments. They're not meant to overhaul your life overnight. The most lasting changes happen when you start with small, doable shifts. Add an extra egg to breakfast. Swap white rice for quinoa once a week. Introduce a serving of oily fish twice a week. Carry a reusable water bottle and make it a habit to drink from it at set times. Over months, these small steps build into a powerful, almost invisible momentum. By the time you've been consistent for 6 months to a year, you might notice not only more muscle tone in your arms and legs, but also a steadier gait, better balance, and a newfound ease in daily activities. This is the point where people often say, I didn't realize how much I'd lost until I got it back. That's the power of feeding your muscles what they need. You're not just preserving your current abilities. You're reclaiming the capacity you thought was gone forever. And as those reclaimed abilities become part of your daily reality, something deeper begins to shift. The way you see yourself. You're no longer moving through the day cautiously, measuring every step in fear of fatigue or strain. Instead, you carry a quiet confidence, the kind that comes from knowing your body will answer when you ask something of it. This is the real reward of protecting your muscle health after 60. It's not about looking like you did at 30, but about feeling capable, steady, and strong enough to live life fully. The foods that support this aren't exotic or complicated, but they are intentional. Every choice becomes a vote for your independence. When you scoop a serving of Greek yogurt onto your breakfast plate, you're not just eating. You're supplying your muscles with leucine and calcium to keep them responsive and resilient. When you choose wild-caught salmon for dinner, you're loading your body with anti-inflammatory omega-3s that protect muscle tissue from silent breakdown. When you sprinkle pumpkin seeds over a salad, you're feeding magnesium into the energy systems that power every step you take. One of the most overlooked aspects of eating for muscle strength is the way these foods also influence your nervous system. Strong muscles don't work in isolation. They depend on quick, efficient communication between your brain and your body. Nutrients like B vitamins from whole grains and leafy greens help maintain the myelin sheath that insulates your nerves, keeping those signals sharp. That's why a diet that feeds muscle also feeds coordination, reaction time, and balance, all of which matter immensely when avoiding falls or staying agile in unexpected moments. It's also important to remember that muscle health is not purely physical, it's emotional. The ability to stand from a chair without help, to walk unassisted across a parking lot, or to carry a laundry basket up the stairs. These are quiet acts of self-reliance that build dignity and self-assurance. The more you can maintain these abilities through strategic eating, the more your sense of freedom grows. There's a story I think about often, about a man in his late 60s who started adding strength-focused foods to his diet after a mild fall scared him into action. At first, he didn't notice much beyond feeling slightly more energetic. But months later, he realized he could kneel in the garden and stand back up without grabbing onto anything. It wasn't a dramatic transformation, but it changed how he approached his life. He started walking more, traveling again, even joining a local hiking group. His muscles had given him back the confidence to say yes to things instead of quietly avoiding them. This is why the golden foods matter. They're not just nutrients, they're tools. Tools that allow you to keep shaping your life instead of letting life shrink around you. And while exercise is essential for signaling your body to keep muscle, the food you eat is the raw material that makes that possible. Without it, the signal gets lost. With it, your body listens and responds. Even the simplest meal can be engineered to serve this purpose. A lunch of grilled chicken, quinoa, and steamed broccoli dressed with olive oil offers protein, leucine, magnesium, vitamin C, and healthy fats all in one sitting. Add a handful of blueberries afterward, and you've layered in antioxidants to protect your muscle cells from oxidative stress. Do this consistently, and your meals stop being random. They become part of an ongoing, muscle-building strategy. It's worth emphasizing one last truth. Maintaining muscle over 60 isn't about resisting aging. It's about aging on your terms. You can't stop time, but you can decide how prepared your body will be to meet it. Each bite of nutrient-rich food is a decision to remain strong enough to walk without fear, to climb stairs without dread, to keep doing the activities you love without hesitation. It's a choice for independence, for dignity, and for living with energy that carries you into the years ahead.
If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like it to support the channel, share it with your loved ones who might need this information, and subscribe so you won't miss our upcoming content on health, nutrition, and how to stay strong and energized after 60. Your health deserves attention, and this journey starts right here.